Hello, welcome to podcast episode 3. If you count pilot episode 1. This is episode 3, but technically episode 2. Anyways, I'm going to be talking about CMS again with my special guest.
Hi.
Sierra. She actually used her real name on the show, which I always think is super cool. And it was, I feel like, a little less confusing. But so we're going to talk a little bit behind the scenes type of deal. I have a few questions I've been asked, and yeah, we'll talk about that in a second.
Can I get one of those candies?
Yeah, they're strawberry candy. So we're going to start out with, I think I kind of explained a little bit of how I got the role of CMS, but I'll do a quick little replay, and then how she got in. She will do a quick little replay as well. So I originally decided I wanted to continue filming like when I did with SES, which is my other one. It was basically kind of like, say, the beginning of this, and it kind of corresponds, but not really. They try to write it like if it were to, but it was kind of difficult to try to do that. And originally it was going to be CES or something, but they didn't like that sounding as much. Now she's going to say a little bit of how she got into it. I kind of knew her a little bit before we started filming, like slightly. Like I've heard about her. Like she was pretty popular in a few other things when she was real young. So I was like kind of excited to start working with her, but yeah. She's going to kind of explain how she got into this role and all.
I don't know what I was supposed to say. Help.
Well, do you remember how you exactly got into this role as Sierra on CMS?
Okay, so I had done a show before. For some reason my brain's not working. You can't tell me the name of it, but I think CMS saw it.
Mm.
And then asked
the
me,
producers of CMS.
Yeah, and asked me if I wanted to join.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I kind of knew the story a little bit. They were like wanting somebody a bit younger to be with the main character. And obviously she was quite a bit younger than me and still is.
5 years.
But I know I used to watch what she was on. Honestly, I can't even think of the name of it.
I was in the background of Stuck in the Middle. Also. I was like 4.
And I don't know, that was... But, now we're going to kind of talk about the behind-the-scenes kind of guest, I meant, like, shoot, what was I talking about? Oh, like, on scene, or not on scene, oh man, behind the scene, I don't know what the hell I'm saying, but I'll explain. Like, the other people kind of involved, like, all of that. There's quite a bit of people who are originally supposed to be main characters, but they're not, because they actually weren't as liked as people were hoping. They were liked originally, and then they kind of were trying to write them as people who were kind of, they're trying to obviously make them into people who were not as liked, and then they weren't liked super.
Just pretend the wire's not there.
I wish. Where the people were super unliked, and then like everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, get them off of the screen! Nobody likes them. They suck." So then they actually had to figure out a way to like write them into strictly the background or write them out. Like there's a few characters who are like you saw them. Like, at first you see him, like, in a lot of the scenes, and then, like, you never saw him again. Like, there was even some behind, like out-of-school type scenes, at, like, the last season, where there was a lot of, like, people in. It's supposed to be love interest. Like, there was one who was talking quite a bit, and then nobody really liked him, and I technically in the show been in a relationship, and they obviously weren't gonna make me a cheater or anything, so they did that. but they didn't like that he was trying to start a rumor, but they also really wanted him to stay in to continue that rumor. But also he had other things to go do. He was actually super busy. He guest stars on all sorts of things. I don't think he's really had a main role, but people love his guest starring. But then the one that played my love interest, he also was he's stupid. And then they kind of just like we don't really like this idea, so they're like, I feel like let's just kind of break it off, but show a little bit of a struggle, because that's kind of how TV love interest shows thing happens. But I've had quite a few love interests during the whole thing, and I loved it. There's this one girl, I loved her. Oh my gosh, I loved her. She actually was technically in the first ever season of the show, and I didn't talk to her ever in that, but I started talking to her a bunch. And then she was in like almost every scene with me, and then she started becoming into the scenes where I was no longer like in the school section. And so I'm not talking the entire time. I'm gonna let Sierra here talk a little bit about some of the guests she's met and kind of her experience with them.
Also, I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna give you like one like sneak peek of like the next few episodes of like CMS, I guess.
Oh, she has a new show. CMS is actually over.
Or like whatever we're doing.
But she has her own show. It's kind of the same idea. Like I was playing as I was in 6th grade middle school, and she's
going into 7th.
Yeah, she's going into like a 7th grade type of year, but she did film 6th they actually are about to kind of like release it because they had a lot of editing to do, but they